How's it going, guys? It's Burgas here and welcome to another Call of Dragons video. Today we're going to talk about the pets in Call of Dragons, and one of the things in Call of Dragons is that some players are choosing pets based on fights that don't look like a real wars. The report look clean, the damage look decent, and the conclusion feels obvious. Now, what is the dangerous part here? The dangerous part is that the pet may look good because the test itself is fake. And this is one of the things that, I don't do many testing. I do testings on this channel, but I try to be in real war. And even in real war scenario, is very different because you have to have full context when you're testing one pet. You want to know what is the decorations of the players, what is the artifacts, the legion, how much healing your legion is having, how much is sustain the legion is having. All these things can make or break a report of the pets. Now, what is one of the false beliefs the players are having? Higher pet damage means better pet. This is, even I'm guilty back in the days over this. I was thinking the high damage means better pet. And since I didn't actually be able to test a fully awakened pet, I was also counting on some reports that the players was providing to me. And some players see one strong pet report and immediately think the pet is better. But pet value is not only about the damage number. And one of the last pet videos that I actually make was about this Brimstone Ouroach. One of the things that I really like about this pet is the legion for the next 10 seconds, deal physical damage, blah blah blah. So for the next 10 seconds, the legion's parry chance is increased by 5%, and max is basically 1. Now, what I really like about this pet, I'm just going to give it an example. This pet is doing damage, okay? But on top of that, having this parry is when a normal attack, when taking normal attack damage, reduce that damage to 0 without affecting the counter attack. So this pet is actually going to absorb one time every 20 hits. One hit is going to be absorbed by this parry, and at the same time is going to do the counter attack in the same time. This is crazy survivability right there. Obviously, this is here we don't boost the percentage the parry can happen, but this is just one example where I believe this is a strong pet. In the same time, maybe the damage report is not going to be wild. I remember I saw some reports from this pet. It was actually a very decent one, but still, it's not only about the damage number. It depends on who you're fighting, how many targets are around you, whenever the fight is melee only, and whether your march survive long enough to repeat value. And one of the best, for example, pets for me for infantry in Call of Dragons is Mosrock Ouroach. But this pet, for example, is having this attack range melee. Maybe I'm not going to go that much over the pets, but you get the idea. If your legion survive longer, it's going to get benefits from your pet. If your legion is counting to be surrounded, some legions, for example, Kuma is a hero that is begging people to be around him, especially with the draining. In general, the infantry pets are this type of pets that just want to have more legions there. This don't mean that the mages are not having AoE pets. For example, Sapphire Fardrak is hitting like 3 legions. Also, this one is still in progress, but this one is also hitting 2 enemy legions. So we're having a lot of AoE pets. So it depends on many things when you're checking one pet. A pet can win the screenshot and still lose the real open field decision at the end of the day. Now, why melee only testing creates fake confidence. This is basically the trap. Especially, I want to talk about more about the melee pets. By melee pets, understand, for example, Brimstone, Ouroach, Mossrock, Ouroach. Also, I can say Brune Bear is a range melee. No, it's actually don't have range melee. But I think this one is, yeah, attack range melee. We're going to talk about mostly about this type of pets. Now, this is a trap with merit traits and controlled testing. In the fight is if the fight is mostly melee, a pet like Mossrock can look much stronger than it would in chaotic open field. But open field is not a clean one-on-one laboratory. You have ranged marches, melee pressure, AoE buffs, movement, focus fire, and random target switching. So yeah, this is one of the things that I really don't like in testing is. Especially when I see somebody do some testing and two legions are sitting and it's like hitting each other, and after this checking the reports, or for example you swarm with cavalry one infantry legion, and you see the reports there. This is not real. You're going to face on the battlefield melee legions. There's, for example, infantry. Behind there's going to be a lot of archers and mages. So it's completely different dynamics there from this just to test it one-on-one. Somebody have awakened pet, let's test it, and they're doing one-on-one around the castles. This is not a right way to test a pet. It can give some vague idea about the pet, but very small idea, and definitely not enough to decide should you actually invest on this pet or not. And what this mean when you have all these things like AoE, buffs, debuffs, movement, focused fire. That means the pet can win a controlled trait, may not be the pet that protect your real march in war. You may not actually be able to go and get close to the mages, for example, so you can benefit from Mossrock Ouroach, because this pet is very solid, by the way. Damage can be triggered up to 5 times per second. This is for 3 seconds. That means the damage of this pet can be triggered like 15 times. 15 times. From this 15 times is going to hit like 2 times. I mean, one for 28 and one for 48, which is absolutely crazy. So yeah. Now, why Venom Lizard looks less flashy but maybe more realistic? Now, speaking about the Venom Lizard, I actually have so much experience with the Venom Lizard. It's not fully built, you know. I catch this pet to be a legendary, and I have these 2 spells that I decide just to not move from the pets because I just don't have enough pet coins to fill all of the 8 slots. But at the end of the day, this one is very bad to be honest. And here is the thing with the pets, and something that really make me mad is to make a pet very solid, you need this type of skills. This is intense infection. This is intense plain boom. This is, do I have it? No, I don't even have it here, but this intense things is costing so much. On top of that, this critical rate and follow-up is also costing so much. But yeah, I'm not going to complain in this video. I just have Venom Lizard, very good build. And to be fair, it's not built the best way. I mean, it's built, but it can be better. I can get, for example, Fatal Bite, which can increase the critical damage. And believe it or not, I need critical damage. I can get critical rate a lot, but without critical damage, it's not the same. Intense infection also is just 1 star. If it's like 2 or 3 stars, it's going to be way more different. I mean, there is just so many things that I can boost over this pet before this pet to become a very nice performing. And right now I don't get some crazy results with this pet. I'm going to be completely honest about the Venom Lizard, but still I have so much experience with this pet. And the strange part is that Venom Lizard may not always create the most exciting reports, but in mixed range and melee fights, consistency can matter more than peak damage. And one of the things that if I can compare Venom Lizard with Mossrock Roach, you're going to see that this spell that is very far for one legion can be triggered once every 1 second. I think you should be able to see it. Yeah, every 1 second. Till the Mossrock Roach, if you look over this bad boy, you're going to see damage can be triggered up to 5 times per second. So in perfect conditions, Mossrock Roach is going to do crazy amount of damage in perfect conditions. But the majority of the cases is not perfect conditions. And here's the thing: the Venom Lizard, the infection, have attack range very far. So with your infantry, you can basically do damage on the mages. Till Mossrock Roach, or for example Brimstone Roach, you're not having this opportunity because the attack range is melee. Definitely you're going to hit the mages if they're in the melee range, but the limitations here that you're having from the melee range definitely can make or break your pet report. Till the Venom Lizards, you can actually predict to some extent how good is going to be your report at the end of the day, because just mixed range and melee fights. Now this is where the players make the mistake. They compare pets in the wrong environment. A pet built for real battlefield chaos can look weaker in testing but stronger when the fight gets messy. Especially all these things, by the way, it's not just the main spell of the pet. Now I'm going to say also something about for example, some other pets like Frost Bear. Now the Frost Bear problem nobody want to check. This is one of the pets that catch my eyes before like 1 month or something like this, and it was about this primitive strike, 40% chance to do damage to the target legion upon being hit by a normal attack for 5 seconds, and things like this. This is a passive one, and etc. You can go and check it out, the Frost Bear. Now Frost Bear is dangerous because it feels safe, one of the things. Shielding feels defensive feels smart, the smart feels efficient. And here is the thing with this Frost Armor. Here we don't care about the range, okay? We don't care about the range. When you reach pet get primitive save 40 damage to the target lane hit by the normal attack. Here we actually don't have range, to be fair. But if the shield interaction affect range timing or lower real damage uptime, then the pet may be quietly hurting your march when you making you feel protected at the same time. Now why mage players get bited by the wrong signals? This is right now we're going to talk about specifically for mage players. Mage players especially wolf visible damage. And I'm like this, you know, I want to see my pet doing the damage. I want to see this damage in work. Big numbers feels like a proof, but the mage are not only about one damage event. They are about uptime, rage cycles, positioning, AoE pressure, and surviving long enough to cast again. So this is, yeah, specifically for the mages now, because they're just having the lowest HP in Cave Giants. If you check it out, Celestials and Vestos is having the same amount of HP. This is the lowest in the game. So you need first to make sure you're going to survive with mages. They're just little more different way of playing. You want to position right. You want to escape AoE pressure in same time. You want to do AoE pressure with with your heroes and the pets. But yeah, if your pet improves one visible number but damage the invisible rhythm of the march, the report can trick you. This is the things with why mages get bited, and I don't think it's only for the mages. By the way, I think everyone who is looking a report and see the performance, for example, of let me check it out. Yeah, look at this thing. I mean, the performance of the pet. This is war pet. 658. This with the new mages. Artifact 168 and 142k is the war pet. And this is with the new heroes and the new artifact. And the new artifact is basically doom bracers. I have them level 4. Managed to get them to level 4, but still very solid, nice artifact. So you can see the pet actually can do pretty nice damage at the end of the day. But still, isn't the biggest problem. The biggest problem is not picking the wrong pet today. The bigger problem is that the pet investments start looking your future decisions. Once you build around the wrong pet, you begin defending the mistake. And I have seen these things so much time. People build something the wrong way and they're defending like their life depending on this. I mean, even though that there is a proof that this thing is not working, I don't even talk about only for Call of Dragons. I mean, for the game. In everything, you choose skills, marches, and testing conditions that make the investment look correct instead of asking if it's actually work in the war. So always, one of the things I'm doing when I don't have the heroes, if I don't have the pet, if I don't have the artifact, is first of all I ask the level of the decorations, and from there I'm asking for combat reports. This is, for example, I don't get Verdun and Kantaman. I just didn't get the luck to get these two bad boys, and I'm collecting reports. On top of that, you can basically do Battle of Abyss, which is going to be tomorrow. And in Battle of Abyss, you're going to be able to test the new mages. This is very nice, by the way, from the game. But the thing with this testing is you're going to have those heroes awakened. The pet is like 3-star everything. And the artifact is like, I think, level 5, if I remember right. It's not example 1, but it's like level 5, which is absolutely wild. I mean, till you achieve the full awakened legions and the pet to be maxed, it's just taking some time. So this can actually make some false feeling, but yeah, the two new mages are very solid, not gonna lie. So yeah, guys, just wanted to scratch the topic about the pets and how the players make wrong decision when they test it in some perfect condition, the pet. But at the end of the day, in the wartime, there is other things that you have to know, and you have to look that you have range legions, you have melee legions, you have a chance everybody to focus at you, like 50 legions to focus at you, and all these things which, you know, everybody should keep in mind when they're building or choosing their pets. So far, this will be for this video. I wish you a great day. See you in the next video.